Hi everybody, it's Sally from Sally Stampers. Thank you for joining me today. Today I'm bringing you my Forever Greenery tote. So I've started my sweet week. You had your first card yesterday and today I'm bringing you my 3D project. And as I say, it's this gorgeous little tote box. It opens up. I don't want to take this ribbon off, but it just opens up so it's a fair size if you sort of consider that being the box. As I say, it is a decent sized box and I think it's really quite cute. I didn't round the edges here, which obviously you could do if you wanted to, because I quite liked the way it was. And I've used the beautiful ornate frames. I thought they went really well on this box, made it stand out. So I'm going to show you how to make it, and it's really easy. So you need a sheet of cardstock that is 10 by 7.5, which is 25 by 19 centimetres. On the long side, we're going to score at 1 inch, 2 inch, 4, 6, 8 and 9 inches, and in centimetres that will be 2.5, 5, 10, 15, 20 and 22.5. Then we're going to rotate it, and on the short side we're going to score at 2 and 5.5, and in centimetres that will be 5 and 14 centimetres. And then as you know, we're going to fold and burnish all of these score lines. I guess I love this suite because it has so many green options. I've actually tried to incorporate all of the greens as I've gone with all of my projects this week. So I've got Shaded Spruce and Pretty Peacock today. I can't remember what yesterday's card had on it, I do apologise, but yeah, I've tried to use the different greens throughout so that you can see how well they all coordinate. So once you've done your scoring and your burnishing, the first thing we're going to do is in your four corners where you've got these, it's almost like a square with this score line through the middle, we're going to cut them away completely. So in effect you're cutting away 4 squares in the corners all the way round. And this suite also it doesn't have a lot of elements to it, so it has the embossing folders, the stamp and dies and the ribbon, and that's it really. It's not a great deal more to it, which is something else I like because it gives you more to expand with as opposed to having a lot of elements to try and fit in. Okay, so once we've done that, we're then going to turn it sideways, and these 3 boxes on either side we need to separate. So I'm going to cut down that one and down that one, and then the one in the centre I'm just going to take some wedges off the sides. Exactly the same on the opposite side, so we're going to cut down and separate them and then give these a wedge cutting out. There we go. Okay, so then we want to add our DSP before we go any further. So I've actually got this one that I've realised doesn't have any Pretty Peacock in it, but do you know what? It still goes really well. So as you can see, I have these wonderful pieces here. And so the 2 larger pieces here, because this will be the base of the box. So your 2 larger pieces you're going to need 2, which are 3.25 by 1 3/4, and in centimetres that will be 8.5 by 4.5. I'm just going to stick those on. So they go either side on the large panels. These small thin strips, 2 of again, are 3.25 by 3/4, which is 8.5 by 2 centimetres. And of course if you want to make this in complete DSP you can do, and then you wouldn't need any DSP, you can just make it completely from DSP, which would be nice. And then these squares are 1 3/4 by 1 3/4, which is 4.5 by 4.5. And it doesn't matter which one you put them on, as long as you put them on a full square and you put them on the same side. Okay, so this now, when it's folded up, we're going to use the blank ones to go on the inside. The ones we've cut wedges will go up into the centre, and then these ones will come over to be, oops, the outside. Okay, and then as you can see, it literally is that simple, and that creates your box. So the first thing I want to do then is put some adhesive on this one. And then that's going on the inside of here. So you're just going to line this bottom piece up here. So I'm going to fold this in. I can just fold these out of the way. So I fold this in and I make sure it's at a 90-degree angle to the base. And then when I fold this one up, I know that it's just going to be square. And then I'm going to add my adhesive to the back of the ones that have the DSP on. And again, these literally just fold up now. And again, just make sure that they sit straight on the bottom. And this one too. Just line it up and stick it on there. And there you have your tote box made up. How lovely is that? So I've actually used my crocodile on this one, and you need to hold these together. Now, as I've mentioned before, if you want to, grab some pegs or clips or paper clips or anything that you have to hand to help you hold it in place. I've then used my grid sheet to find where the centre is, and my centre point is roughly around here. And then I want my bigger hole punch here. I'm just going to slide in, and it is quite hard, this bit, because obviously I've got all of this bulkiness here. I just about make that work, and there's my little hole. And then I've got the beautiful ribbon combo, and you don't need a great deal of this one. And then while the pegs are still on, you can feed that through, and then just obviously make sure it's tidy. So I'm happy with that bit. And then I've got some of the gold twine here as part of it to just tie around that bow, around that piece of ribbon there. Tie it on and then just feed it down to where you want it, and then obviously tie your bow. Oops, that didn't quite work so well, did it? Let's try again. That's it, got it. It's not going to be the prettiest of bows, I don't think, but it's a bow. Right. Then once you're happy with it, oops, I just caught the tail end of it then and pulled it. So I just want to trim that piece off and just give these tails a trim there. And I can take my pegs off. So that's that bit done. And then just to decorate it, so I've got some of my Pretty Peacock and some Whisper White. And I'm actually using the ornate frames. As I said, I think these are so pretty. So those are the parts that I need. So I'm just going to bring in my die cutting machine. And I didn't do these ahead of time, which I perhaps should have done, but and I'm just going to pop these on here. Just run them through. I'm just going to run it through again just because of that detailed one. take these out, get rid of that. So I have that one, and then this one. I just very carefully need to ease it out of here. It is so beautiful and intricate, it can be a little bit fiddly. You just work your way around, and as long as it's cut through well enough, you can just ease it out. There we go. And I'm just very quickly with my take your pick, I'm just going to pop these bits out and say it doesn't really take too long. But it's worth it because I think it's so pretty. And just keep going round. There we go. And that's that bit done. I always like to turn it over and check, because sometimes you get bits that haven't quite come away and then they're stuck. So just, and then I've got my To a Friend That Makes Me Smile from the Forever Fern stamp set. And I've got my pretty peacock here. And I probably should have stamped this before I die cut it, but it's okay. And I'm just going to be brave and go with it, and it actually has worked really well. That's a relief. And then I've just got a couple of dimensionals onto the back of here. And then these will obviously go onto my frame. I love how these just fit together. I mean, it just takes the hassle out of everything, doesn't it? Don't you think? I mean, it's just gorgeous. And then again, just some dimensionals on the back to hold this in place. And then just be gentle with your frame, because as you're holding it, you can tend to bend the swirls on it. And then this will just sit very gently, hold on to it on the centre of here. There we go. Beautiful. Oops, I've got dimensionals all over me now. But there we have it. There is our beautiful Forever Fern tote. Hope you like it. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you again soon.